part of the ano naman. This one is from JC's work. So we'll be dealing with this problem wherein we are to calculate now the individual plastic viscosity, yield point, 10-second gel strength, and 10-minute gel strength. So with regards to gel strength, so that is pertaining, it is subdivided into two types: the 10-second gel strength and the 10-minute gel strength. So technically, when we say gel strength, it's more of in terms of the particles that is being suspended doon sa ating drilling fluid. So, nangyayari, the particles are yung mga substance that is suspended doon sa mismong fluid is forming or nagkakaroon ng deformation. So, by definition, gel strength is a measure of the substance ability to form, maintain, and resist deformation. No. So, technically, the gel strength of that you will be recording for the 10-minute gel strength would be higher compared to a 10-second gel strength. No, kasi this particular parameter is measured on static conditions. When the rotation of the viscometer that you have used is already at rest or siya ay hindi na umiikot. Okay? And we also have a shear rate for each additive specific through the given data sets. So assume that there is a constant shear rate of 500 seconds raised to negative 1 or 500 per second. Okay. So for this one, we have we have a given formula for the shear rate. No, shear rate is shear stress, I mean, is denoted by tau. Yung tau na symbol. If you could remember sa bit during our discussion in bit, we've used also tau. No? So we have tau sub y for the yield point. We also have mu p for the plastic viscosity. And we also have the gamma symbol for the shear rate. So the shear stress is equal to the yield point plus the plastic viscosity multiplied to the shear rate. Okay, so you take note of this. See, as follow up ko, sir. So we have this given data for commercial soda ash for 0.25, 0.5, actually this is 0.5 and 0.75 grams. No, so as you can see, there are 3 trial for the dial reading. No? So meron tayong 3 trials. So our goal is to get its average. Okay. So for example, for the rotary speed of 600 RPM, we have 3 dial reading, 18, 19, and 17. So we'll get its average in order for us to get the true dial reading. Okay. So bakit mahalaga itong mga rotary speed na ito? Based on this rotary speed, specifically for 600 RPM and 300 RPM, we will be using this to get the values of plastic viscosity and yield point. Okay. So for our equation here, we have the formula for getting the plastic viscosity. So yung reading on the 600 RPM minus the reading on 300 RPM will give us the plastic viscosity. Okay, gets po yun. Okay. I'll try to download this one para masulatan natin siya for a while lang. Then I'll be opening it in Adobe. Okay. Okay po. For a while lang. While I reshare my screen. Can you inform me if visible na po siya? Yan. Visible na po. Okay, thank you. So, our formula, ulitin ko, for the plastic viscosity, we have the reading in 600 RPM minus reading in 300 RPM. Then for the yield point, we have the reading in 300 RPM minus the plastic viscosity. So, based on the equation number 1 that I have mentioned, yung first equation natin, we can derive another formula in getting the yield point without needing to compute directly yung ating plastic viscosity. So how will we do that? We know that this plastic viscosity is reading in 600 minus reading in 300. So basically, this minus would be distributed dito. Magiging minus R 600 siya. Tapos ito ay magiging plus. So technically, ang magiging new equation natin is 2R reading on 200 minus reading on 600. Gets nyo? Gets kung bakit naging ganito yung bagong formula? Pwede natin siyang isulat as ganito. If halimbawa na ang required lang hanapin is the yield point, we'll only be dealing with this formula here. Okay? Clear po tayo doon. Clear? Kung pinalitan ko lang po itong plastic viscosity in terms of the dial reading for 600 RPM and 300 RPM. Okay. So, as you can see here, there is a table that shows the average of each concentration of soda ash per dial or per rotary speed. No? So for the rotary speed, actually it is subdivided into 3. Then we have here the 10-second and the 10-minute just strength. Now, so for the 10 seconds and 10-minute just from its name, 10 seconds and 10 minutes. So technically, after we subject yung ating drilling fluid or yung drilling fluid samples natin into rotation at maximum speed or yung 600 RPM natin, once na itigil natin yung ating viscometer, maghihintay tayo ng 10 seconds. And after 10 seconds, kung ano yung maging reading niya, yun po yung ating isusulat as part of the data. Then yun yung ating 10-second just strength. Nagigets nyo? So, ibig sabihin, at first trial, after ma-stop or after mag-rest yung ating viscometer, 10 seconds after it, yung reading niya is 19. Okay? That's for the gel strength. So, we still need to find its average. Okay? So, same goes for the 10 minutes. So, 10 minutes after naman na mag-stop yung rotation ng viscometer. Okay? So, yun yung concept on how we get this data or this value. So, i-average lang ulit natin. Actually, we have already, di ba, one of the unknowns or two doon sa unknowns natin ay yung 10-second gel strength and the 10-minute gel strength. So, meron agad tayong average. Ito and ito. May sagot na agad tayo. And for the case of, this is 0.5. For the case of 0.5, we already have the average. Then this is the 0.75 grams. Okay. Question po. Question. Nakuha po. Nakakasunod pa po. Guys, kindly react heart if may question. If gets naman. Okay, thank you. So, next, we have already the gel strength for each concentration. Next is to compute for the yield point. For the yield point, kagaya na sabi ko sa inyo kanina, that's the reading in the 600 RPM at 600 RPM setting, minus the reading at 300 RPM setting. So that is just the average. So 18 minus 13.6667. So this is basically 30 times 3. It's 41 over 3. No, this is 41 over 3. So 18 minus 41 over 3, that's 4.33. No. So this is our ano ito? Plastic viscosity. No. So for plastic viscosity, we have different units. But yung ating ginagamit is centipua. No. Our centipua, this is pertaining to plastic viscosity in drilling fluids. For a while lang. Okay, sorry for the interruption. So, for the yield point as well as the gel strength, may it be 10-second gel strength or 10-minute gel strength, yung atin po magiging unit is pound per 100 feet square. So that's pound per 100 feet square. So this will be the yield, the unit for yield point and the gel strength. No, for gel strength, it's both for 10-minute and 10-second gel strength. Okay, so for our 0.25 grams concentration, we have 4.333 centipua of plastic viscosity. For its yield point, using this formula, the reading in 300 RPM setting minus the plastic viscosity, that would give us 9.3333. No? So, can we try using this formula here, yung ating nabagong formula, or yung ating derived na formula. So, that's 2 times reading in 300. So, yung ating reading in 300 is 13.6667 or 41 over 2 times 2 minus R60, that's 18. Technically, this is 41 minus 18. Ano 41? 41, over 3 pala to. So, ano magiging answer natin? That's 82 over 3 minus 18. So, our answer would be 9.3333. So, it's just the same. Did you get the same answer po?
Yes po, sir.
So, we have the same answer for this one. So, this derived formula is just the same with the previous one. So, kaya natin to derive kasi we can find already the yield point directly even without computing for the plastic viscosity. Okay? So, may direct formula na tayo using the given parameters in RPM settings. Next, so we have already the value for plastic viscosity. We have the yield point. And we also have a constant shear rate that is given sa ating problem, 500 seconds per second. So, we can now find the shear stress. Okay. For our shear stress, ang mayayari dyan, that's 9.333. So, that's basically the yield point plus 4.333 then multiplied to the shear rate. So our tau or our yield stress, shear stress, shear stress is 2,176. Did you get the same answer po for the shear stress? So yung atin pong makukuha answer is 2,176 and its unit po is the same pound per feet square or pound per 100 feet square. Question? Question po? Nuggets po iyon? Okay, so ito yon. So, yan. This is just the same. It's just, it's different concentration. So, as you can notice, halos pare-parehas lang naman yung sagot. So, if you are to examine the values, there is a slight variation, no? So, as the concentration of soda ash increases, ano napapansin nyo? Bumababa yung plastic viscosity, no? Pagtaas ng concentration ng soda ash ba? Soda ash pala, hindi pala caustic soda. Soda ash, or so the sodium carbonate, bumababa po yung ating plastic viscosity. And in terms of the yield point, tumataas naman siya. No? There's an increasing trend. In terms naman of our shear stress, the shear stress you consider is also a descending trend. So nababawasan as we increase the concentration of soda ash. No? So this is the effect of putting soda ash doon sa ating drilling fluids. Question? How about sa gel strength pala? Sa gel strength, as you can notice, there is a slight change. So nagkakaroon ng increasing trend. No. So pag ini-increase natin yung concentration, nag-i-increase din po ang gel strength. As you can notice doon sa ating data. Question? Nagets ga? Do you have any question with regards to these rheological properties of drilling fluids? If none, kindly give me a response by putting up this heart action. Then we can now proceed with the next one. Okay, thank you. So let me just reshare my screen for our next one. Same lang pa. Dito pala siya. Sabay na po siya on your end. Okay, close natin. Close na natin to. Okay. So for now, we'll be dealing naman with well control. This well control is nasa ano siya. So, nasa lecture notes naman natin siya, but it is somehow where in the middle, since yung mga paunang part is more of calculation. Later on, we'll be dealing with the calculation if time permits and if we still have time. Okay, so for well control, we know that our borehole or our formation, yung pressure natin is everywhere. Yung presence ng pressure is inevitable. No, so literal na nandun lang siya. No, so without it, we are outside space and time. So basically, that's pertaining to pressure in general. No, so kung walang pressure, we cannot breathe kasi it will require pressure or yung atmospheric pressure para tayo ay makahinga. So basically, kumbaga parang siya yung nagiging vessel or bloodline ng ating field. So here we have a kick and a blowout. No? So basically, we know the difference between kick and blowout already. No? So for kick, it's the influx of reservoir fluids from the formation papunta doon sa ating borehole. Then when we are talking about blowout naman, it is already the uncontrolled. No? So uncontrolled na yung pag-influx ng ating reservoir fluids papunta doon sa ating borehole. So these are just basic concepts that we need to know when we are talking about well control. No? So all things contains opposing pressure inside and outside. So in order for us to have the equilibrium and stability, both of this pressure must be equal in magnitude. No. So ibig sabihin if there is one maalin sa normally siya ay yung pressure ng formation. Pag mas mataas siya compared sa pressure na ine-exert ng ating mud or sa hydrostatic pressure, so technically there could be a movement or nagkakaroon ng visible action. No, so that could be disastrous if siya ay hindi na control. No, so cake daw po is denoted as delta P kasi there is a difference in pressure and it's this would be the notion for cake, yung delta P. Okay, so why does a cake occur? So the pressure inside the wellbore is lower than the formation pore pressure. So this is just the mathematical equation or mathematical inequality that represents a cake. No? So when the borehole pressure or the wellbore pressure is less than the formation pressure. So well control and blowout prevention. So without well control and blowout prevention, there would be higher drilling costs. So this is just very obvious, no? Sobrang obvious ng part na yan. Nagkakaroon ng higher drilling cost when there occur a problem, no? So nagkaroon ng problem, syempre magkakaroon ng several consequences with regards to devastation or yung pagkaka that is connected with the second one. Magkakaroon ng waste in natural resources. And also it could result also to a possible loss of human life. No? So well control means method used to minimize the potential of the well to flow or kick and to maintain the control of the well in the event of flow or kick. So this well control is not only applied during the drilling operation, hindi lang sa drilling operation. It is also applied during well completion, well workover, and even in the abandonment, as well as in well servicing operations. So meron tayong different measures, practices, and procedures, and even equipments for us to ensure the well control. No. So such are fluid flow monitoring. So meron tayong real-time monitoring with regards to the fluid flow, may mga parameters related to such. We have pressure, the flow rate in terms of mass, in terms of volume. We also ensure safe and environmentally protective drilling. Siyempre, we have protocols that we are following. We also have a proper procedure or proper execution of completion, of well completions, as well as abandonment and well workover. No. So, sa well workover, dyan pumapasok yung installation, repair, maintenance, and even the operation of surface and subsea well control equipments. Okay. So, a formation fluid influx may result from one of the following reasons. So, we have here 6 listed reasons. First, we have abnormally high formation pressure. So this is very obvious, no? Kapag mas mataas talaga yung formation pressure, syempre, in order for us to prevent kick, we need a higher density of drilling fluid or heavier drilling fluid or drilling mud. Then also, yung one of the reason then is yung low circulation. Kaya we need also to have the hydrostatic pressure exerted by our mud to be slightly higher. Kasi kapag siya ay sobrang taas, magkakaroon or magkakos siya ng low circulation. And this low circulation, by as time passes by, ang tendency, bumababa na yung ine-exert na pressure or hydrostatic pressure doon sa ating borehole. meaning it will again initiate a kick or the influx of these formation fluids. Then also we have mud weight is very low or it's too low. Technically, by the formula of pressure or hydrostatic pressure, it's technically density times gravity times the height, or since this is talking about the borehole, so this height is pertaining to the depth. No, syempre. So we need to, in order for us to get the high value of that pressure, we need to raise the density. No? Kasi ito naman gravity, it's constant. Hindi naman po nagbabago ang gravity sa Earth. It's still 9.81 meter per second square and still 32.174 feet per second square if we're talking about English unit. Next, we have the swabbing in during the tripping operation. When we say swabbing in, this is our drill string. Let's say, pag sinabing swabbing is pinapasok natin yung ating drill string doon sa ating borehole. So, tendency, nagkakaroon ng surging effect. And this surging effect will have kung nagkakaroon ng vacuum effect. And this vacuum effect will initiate a kick or yung influx ng formation fluid doon sa ating borehole. Next, we have the fifth reason, not filling up the hole while pulling out of the drill string. So this is somehow related with the fourth one. No. So when you pull out of the hole yung ating drill string, tendency nagkakaroon yun yung isa pa ding nagiging cause ng vacuum effect. Siyempre parang nagkakaroon ng paghigop. Ay, alam niyo yun sa syringe. Yan, parang ganun yung nagiging setup niya, but on a larger scale. No. Then we also have the last one is recirculating gas or oil cat mud. Ano yung gas cat mud? Ano yung oil cat mud? Ano pag sinabing oil cat mud, gas cat mud? Anyone? Any idea? Sino may idea about oil cat mud and gas cat mud? Okay, pag sabing gas cut at oil cut mud, meaning there is an intrusion already of gas or oil doon sa ating mud. Siyempre, pag nagkaroon ng intrusion ng hydrocarbon doon sa ating tendency, since we know that water is higher, yung density niya is higher than the gas and the oil. So once this gas and oil intrude or pumasok na dun siya doon sa system ng mud, tendency bababa yung kanyang mud weight or its density, which will lead us to the third reason. No. So yun yung nagiging cause niya. So along with well control, we have this primary and secondary control. For the primary control, syempre yun yung pertaining to the drilling fluids hydrostatic pressure. So that's the primary control. Secondary control lang yung ating BOP or the blowout preventer. They're familiar naman with BOP, kahit second year pa lang naririnig na ang BOP. So this is an example of a schematic diagram ng isang BOP. So this is a surface equipment with numerous number of valves. Could be hydraulic valve, plug valve, adjustable chokes, and pressure gauges. Okay, so we have warning signs of a kick. Ano ba yung mga warning signs ng kick natin? First, we have drilling break. Ano pag sabing drilling break? Familiar ka sa drilling break? Di ba parang na-discuss na natin yan? Drilling break is the sudden increase in the drilling rate. Tama? Are you familiar with drilling break? guys, nagkaroon ng sobrang increase or anong term yun? High increase, high difference in that small span of time, nagkaroon ng high increase doon sa drilling rate. So, yun yung tinatawag na drilling break. Next, nagkaroon ng decrease in pump pressure. Kapag nagkaroon ng decrease in pump pressure, meaning the fluids are already intruding doon sa ating borehole. No, kasi nababawasan niya yung pressure na in-exert ng pump. Yung mga natutulak niya. Then we also have increase in pit level. So this is a very common or very obvious sign or warning signs of a kick. Nagkakaroon ng increase doon sa pit level. Siyempre, doon tumataas yung level ng ating drilling mud. For example, yung level ng drilling mud natin ay halimbawa ay hanggang ito yung ating borehole. Bawa nandito pa yung drilling mud. Halimbawa nandito lang yung level ng drilling mud. Tapos napansin mo nagkaroon na increase. So tendency may kick, may possibility ng kick. So this kick normally pag meron increase in pit level, this is caused by liquid kick or liquid intrusion or liquid influx. No, so liquid, it may be water kick or it may be oil kick. Next, we have gasket mud. Ito yung sinasabi ko sa inyo kanina na kapag yung gas nag-intrude doon sa mud, kumbaga humahalo siya doon sa system ng mud, then tendency bumababa yung density ng mud, which causes its hydrostatic pressure to go down drastically. Okay? Question for the warning signs of the kick. Okay. By definition, may definition pala yan. Discuss ko isa-isa. No? So, yeah. Ang sudden increase of drilling break can be caused by, first, there is a soft formation, and it's also caused by permeable zones. So, increase in pump pressure when less dense formation fluid enters the borehole, yung hydrostatic head sa annulus ay nababawasan, which causes for the pump pressure to also decrease. So, although reduction in pump pressure may be caused by several other factors, yung ating kinoconsider dahil ay yung formation fluid influx. Yun yung main natin kinoconsider kasi mga preventive measure siya. Kasi yun yung kadalasang possible cause. No. And in order for us to remediate that situation, we must stop the pump and return the flow mud line. And you need to monitor it. No. So yan, ito yung isa pang regards to the pressure, ito yung pinakita ko sa inyo kanina. Lower density meaning low pressure in terms of the hydrostatic pressure. This is very common. Yan. So for closing a well we have this procedure. No. So if the kick daw po is gained while tripping, the only warning signal we have is the increase in fluid volume. We cannot see the other warning signs. Yun lang yung nakikita natin kapag tayo nagtitrip, no? So para maiwasan yung is magpo-proceed tayo with kill procedure. No. So what do we mean by kill? We kill the well. Literal na i-shut off or natin yung well. Titigil natin yung well. No. So these are the steps on killing the well. So I won't be reading it. So yun naman po ay ibibigay ko sa inyo. So as you can see here, yung pinaka bizarre na step is itong number 8. We notify the company personnel. So basically this is not of a physical work but more of a communication part. Kailangan nating ma-communicate siya sa personnels ng company before mag-proceed sa kill procedure kasi if we kill the well, syempre tumitigil din yung operation which will cost us time. Kaya kailangan nating i-notify muna or sabihan yung company personnel before we proceed to killing the well. Okay? Clear po yun? So if the well daw po kicks while tripping, so this is or these are the steps that is needed or is necessary for us to conduct so eight yan. Okay, so this is an example of a well-controlled kick sheet. So if you are on a drilling rig, map onshore or offshore man yan. So if you secured a job as a drilling personnel, syempre simula na lagi namang simula yun sa pinakababang position. So siguro you could encounter this kick sheet. Okay, upon shutting in the well, yung pressure daw po ay nagkakaroon ng build-up both on the drill pipe and even on the casing sides. So yung rate daw po ng pressure build-up and time for stabilization depend upon the formation fluid types, formation properties, initial differential pressure, and also yung properties ng ating drilling fluids. So the technique daw po is provided for determining the shut-in pressures if the drill pipe pressure is recorded as a function of time. No. So at this time, we record that the SIDPP or the shut-in drill pipe pressure and the SICP or the shut-in casing pressure. If there is a small difference between their pressure, it indicates na meron daw pong liquid kick, oil, salt water, or even water. Pero kapag naman po mayroong large difference between the two, ang kick daw po is most probably gas. Gas in nature. Okay, inulit lang din yan. Okay, so for kill control procedure, we have three methods. We have the driller's method, the engineer's method, and the volumetric method. For driller's method, it's also called as the two circulation method. Then engineer's method is one circulation. So yung main difference lang between the two, yung drillers at engineers, more for conventional or yung traditional way, yung sa driller's method. Itong engineer's method is more of ito yung conventional kasi it will require computational analysis when it comes to how we circulate, so kumbaga isang circulation lang yung kailangan, unlike doon sa driller's method, dalawang circulation yung kailangan for this one. So yung guiding principle for a kick control procedure is that yung ating bottom hole pressure is kailangan constant siya, and constant at the same time dapat siya is slightly above the formation pressure at end stage of the process. And in order for us to choose the most suitable technique, we need to consider these circumstances. So first, we need to consider the complexity of the method and also yung experience ng drilling crew. For example, merong na nagkaroon ng kick, yung mga drilling crew is more of experience or more of yung masanay sila sa driller's method. Technically, sa driller's method would be better, unlike parang yun na yung practical na gawin for that particular situation. So also we need to consider the maximum expected surface and borehole pressure and also the time needed to reestablish the pressure over balance. So these are the steps for driller's method. I won't be putting into details na dito, but I have already differentiated the drillers and the engineer's method. So here, based on this graph, on the first step, as you can see, there is a constant SIDP or the shut-in drill pipe pressure. Then by a time C, before tayo mag end doon sa step 2, dapat siya ay na gradually nababawasan na yung SIDPP or the shut in direct pressure. So in terms naman of the shut in casing pressure, there could we have this time denoted as T sub E, wherein yung shut in casing pressure natin is at maximum. However, after that time, we need to decrease it to a point, specifically denoted by tau B, wherein at specific span of time, dapat siya ay constant. No? So this is basically after the step 1. Dapat ay constant yung ating shut-in casing pressure, and gradually, bago matapos yung operation or yung procedure, mababa siya. Bumababa siya gradually. Hindi biglaan, but gradual. So, yan yung difference for the case of the shut-in drill pipe pressure and the shut-in casing pressure. For engineer's method, kaya sabi ko sa inyo kanina, more of this is backed by engineering principles. More of computational analysis yung nagiging set up for this one. No, so we consider yung irregularities dun sa hole geometry, also the formation fluids phase behavior. So yung may apat siyang phase. As you can see, the drill pipe pressure is somehow decreased at a certain point, then up until the end, siya dapat ay constant. In terms of the casing pressure, at the beginning of phase 3, dapat at maximum na yung casing pressure. Then, during phase 3, dapat drastic yung pag-decrease nung casing pressure up until bumaba na siya. So, yun yung nagiging situation in terms of the shut-in casing pressure and the shut-in drill pipe pressure during engineer's method. Next, we also have the volumetric method. So this volumetric method can be used if yung ating kick is taken during tripping up the hole with a bit far from the bottom of the hole. No. So the fundamental principle behind this is you equate the pit volume change with the corresponding change in the annulus pressure. So this is the mathematical formula. We have the change in surface pressure at casing side in PSI that is equal to the change in pit volume all over the volume capacity of the annulus, yung annular volume capacity, multiplied to the constant 0.052 times the specific weight of the mat. So for BOP equipments, we have the blowout preventer. No. So we have two types, annular and drum. For annular, it's the main component of the annular BOP. So it is a high tensile strength and circular rubber packing unit. Later on, I'll be giving an example. The Chora. The advantage of such a well-controlled device is that packing element will close off around any size or shape of the pipe. So ito yung Chora ng isang annular preventer. Then we have the ram preventer. For the ram preventer, this is derived yung name niya from the twin ram elements. We have actually it's three types of ram that is available. We have the blind ram. Blind ram, ganun siya. Literal na ganun. Tapos pipe ram, and also the shear ram. No. So blind ram will completely close off the well bore when there is no pipe doon sa ating hole. Tapos yung pipe ram naman is itself of around a specific size of pipe. So meron siyang sizes na sinusunod. Sa shear ram, Same lang siya sa blind drum pero they can cut through drill pipe, no? So itong blind drum, pinagkaiba niya from shear ram, dito kailangan pag kinat niya, walang pipe na makakat. Ito yung pangkat yung shear ram. Kumbaga pang close lang talaga yung blind drum. So ito yung tsura ng isang ram preventer. We have a drilling spool, no? So drilling spool is a connector which allow choke and kill lines to be attached to the BOP stack. So this choke and kill lines, sila yung mga high pressure pipelines that is connected directly to the BOP papunta sa facility or sa production facility. And this are very vital kasi it reduces the pressure doon sa mismong BOP, no? Nakakatulong siya to bleed off. Nagkakaroon ng bleed off. Yung term bleed off. So ito siya. So the wellhead from which the casing strings are suspended are made of casing spools. Ano pa yung casing spool? So once again, casing spool must be rated to the same pressure as the rest of the BOP stack in order for them to not para hindi ma-experience yung different deformation doon sa ating equipments. Na we have a choke line and a kill line. So high pressure pipelines sila, and yung placing nila is very important, no? Kung saan siya naka-place. So since the well daw po is closed in at the annular preventer, the wellbore fluids leaves the annulus through the side outlet below the BOP. So ito yung, then dumadaan siya sa high pressure line known as the choke line. Ito yung choke line. Then yung kill line daw is opposite to the choke line. So on the BOP stack and the mud pumps and provide a means of pumping fluid downhole when the normal method of circulating down the drill string is not possible. So these are the general considerations in terms of the placements ng ating BOP stacks. Ito yung tsura ng isang BOP stack arrangement along with its kill line and choke line. So there is a choke and kill line below each pipe ram to allow well killing with either the ram. So kahit anong type ng ram, mapa-blind, mapa-pipe, or mapa-shear ram, so we can allow during the killing operation or the kill operation. So we have the API recommended considerations based on the API recommended practice 53, no, wherein there's a code used for the stack arrangements no ating stacks or BOP stacks. So meron siyang code 5M. For example, we have this example 5M. Yung 5M naka-refer po siya sa working pressure. That 5M is pertaining to 5,000 PSI, 13 and 5/8 inches. So that's pertaining to the diameter of the vertical bore. Then this RS RDAG, it is the order of the components from bottom to up. Same lang siya din sa R9, RS, RD, AG. Baliktad lang dito. Same lang siya. But this is G. G is pertaining to the rotating BOP used for gas and air drilling. Kaya siya G. A is for the annular preventer. RD. RD is meaning double ram. S is for drilling spool and R is for single ram. So iba-iba yung tsura niya. So for low pressure, specifically 2,000 PSI, generally consists of one annular preventer, a double ram type preventer, or some combination of both. Pag 3,000 or 5,000 yung normal pressure, this is the range, 3,000 to 5,000. Consists naman of one annular preventer and two sets of ram. Yung common na ginagamit ay combination ng pipe ram at blind ram. So ito yung ginagamit for normal pressure. So may two sets of RAM. RAM, 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 RAM. RAM. Ito ay spool liga, itong S. Drilling spool. Ito ang annular. Yung annular preventer. Yung nasa taas ito. Then for abnormally high pressure, ranging from 10,000 to 15,000 psi, generally consists of three RAM types preventer, wherein there is a two sets of pipe RAMs plus maalin lang sa blind or shear RAM. Yun ay depende sa ano ha, sa formation type, kung gaano kalaki yung formation, also the pressure. So in all these arrangements, the associated flanges and valves must have a pressure rating equal to that of the BOP themselves. Kasi ang tendency, kung magkakaiba siya ng pressure rating, tendency kung yung isang equipment o isang part or isang section ng sa equipment ay iba ang rating, yun yung possible na maging weakest point doon sa arrangement, no? Doon possible magkaroon ng disruption. Doon yung possible na masira. Kaya dapat pare-pares yung pressure rating ng ating material na ginagamit. So yan yung sample ng arrangement for a abnormally high pressure. Question? Question po? Do you have any questions, guys? So, simula na pong question. Then, by next meeting on Monday, we have 3 hours meeting on Monday. Face-to-face. So, we'll be dealing with with the calculations involved in chapter 4. So, medyo marami. So, kakasya naman siguro siya for 3 hours. No? Sa calculation. Then, by Tuesday, we'll have our quiz before tayo mag-midterms exam by week 9. Kasi week 8 na next week. Questions? Sure? Anong questions ha? Okay, sumula na po tayong question. Yung nakausap ko na lang ay planta, terrace, at isang upuan. So if you don't have any more question, I'll be giving you the rest of the time for you to have an advanced reading or advanced study for the calculation concepts about drilling hydraulics. Siguro, yun naman ay pwedeng matutunan ng sarili. Madali lang naman siya. So, thank you po for attending our class. Let's call it a day. See you all next week.
Thank you po.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you po, sir.
Thank you po, sir.